I'm live. Hello, good morning. It's High Priestess Jamila. Hello. Happy 2021. So, since I do hex removals from people, I figured I would come and talk to y'all about the signs of being hexed. Okay. Now, there are many different types of hexes. There are hexes on an individual. There can be hexes on your relationship. There can be hexes on an object. There can be hexes on, you know, different things. But for a personal hex, most people, well, there's a lot of people that are typically born into into a hex, which this is what we call a generational curse. Okay. These are the ones that most people are concerned about, because if you're born within spiritual bondage or blockage, which is mainly relationships, or it's almost like spirit treats you as if you don't have the right to live. Okay. So you'll survive. You'll feel like you're surviving in this world rather than living. Okay. And, as long as you notice that, as long as you don't seek any personal happiness, you're okay. But as long as you do the bidding of, of whatever that entity is that is blocking you, then you're okay. And this is something where you have to resist that. You have to resist it. You have to be the resistance of your own life. Okay. And God calls many of us to do that because God has a plan for us. Okay. So it's not like you're going to get far or you're going to really get anywhere in life as long as you have that spiritual bondage on you. You would have to do some pretty terrible things to even survive. Okay. And the biggest generational curses that I've seen would be where the person has a problem with the law, the person has a problem with drugs, the person has a problem with alcohol, are some of the main things. You know, outside influences, they do matter, um, but it's all about what's personally happening to you in the situation. Sometimes curses can be transferred or they can be absorbed by people around you, but most of the time, if you just have a curse on you, it's going to manifest itself in many, many different ways. Okay. Now, I want y'all to, first of all, this fake crap that you see on YouTube, throw that away and out of your mind. People coming at you on YouTube, that's YouTube. YouTube.com is cursed. So people on YouTube, I can sense it sometimes to where I can feel this extremely negative entity over YouTube. YouTube.com itself is a cursed platform. It is. And that's why you got so many people on here that fall victim to that demon, and they'll get to, you know, attacking folk that they don't know and stuff like that, and people making up stuff. People, that's not a hex. That's just somebody saying, hey, I don't like this person, attack them. That's what that is. Not a hex, not a genuine, authentic hex. Some of the symptoms of a genuine, authentic hex: depression is one of the biggest symptoms of being cursed, is depression. Is when you are depressed and you cannot enjoy your life. You just, the things that you either should enjoy or used to enjoy, you just don't have that zest of life, you know. You and with depression, you may be depressed and sleepy, extremely sleepy or tired or drained. Okay, you'll feel like your energy is being drained from you. Um, your physical body feels drained. Okay. Um, not being able to sleep is a big symptom. Sleeping issues, being woke up by malevolent forces to be in fear. Okay. And I'm a medium, so I have spirits that wake me up all the time. Spirit wakes me up most of the time, but if it's a malevolent force, it's going to let you know that it's malevolent and that it's there to harm you. Okay. Now, being able to work but then not relax. When you try to relax, you just can't seem to relax yourself. You just can't seem to, you know, get yourself to that place where you feel tranquil and where you feel peaceful. You just feel kind of, and I'm talking about without certain things. You know, we all have our vices. I know I like to drink wine, you know, and I do smoke cigarettes. So, but even, you know, it's, if you can't, if you can't get yourself relaxed, okay, um, struggling with your emotions really bad to where things just trigger you really easily. You just get triggered. You just, you know, and feeling like you're surviving but not living, feeling like you're working again, feeling like something is working against you constantly. Okay. Problems at work is a big one. Okay, problems on your job. Not the same problems that, okay, because a lot of people say, oh, well, you must be cursed because you have problems at your job. This is not a job. This is a social media platform where there's no rules, not really. So, when I start getting attacked on YouTube, which it happens a lot, I don't think of it as a curse. I think of it as people clout chasing. That's exactly what that is. That just people on YouTube clout chase. Curse people on YouTube. A lot of the people on YouTube that clout chase, they are under curses because their creativity is blocked. So they don't know self and they don't know what to do they don't know their purpose. That's why they'll end up doing a bunch of videos about one person. If you're doing a bunch of videos about one person, then you have another symptom of being cursed, which is obsession. You're obsessed with that person. Okay, that person is able to get you in your feelings. That person is able to mess with you. Okay, you see them and you just, and some people have natural enchantments on them. Some people have natural enchantments that are, we call them enchantments in nature. In nature, it's called repellents. Okay, how certain animals can do certain things, like chameleons can disguise themselves in order to, survive danger. Um, and you'll find that if you are cursed or born into a curse, you will have to often, not stand on your ground. You'll have to just blend in with other people. And you know what I'm saying? And so that's not necessarily a sign. That's a good thing that you're able to do that. But there's a lot of people that have spirits on them that will make other people obsessed with them. It'll make other people have sexual feelings towards them. It'll make people become obsessed with them. Those are certain enchantments that some people are born with. Okay. It's not necessarily bad for the person that has those enchantments, but rather it can be bad for the people that are dealing with them. And see, that's a sign of being generationally cursed when you are fixated and obsessed with a person. Okay, obsessions and fixations, something done happened down in your family bloodline that done made you do that because you're wasting your life pretty much. If you were somebody that a lot of people call it being puppeteered. Okay, being puppeteered. Um, some other stuff that would be change in the way that you look. Okay, if your looks have changed and you look in the mirror and you can't see yourself, but you see a like maybe a more sinister aspect of yourself if you look in the mirror and you look different and your looks have changed like drastically to the point where it's like this person didn't, because I don't care how much older you get, you're still going to, there's certain features about yourself. There's been people whose whole facial structure and body structure has changed. Okay. Health problems like the inability to lose weight or the inability to gain weight. Okay. If you desire to gain a few pounds and you can't, or if you desire to lose a couple of pounds and you can't, that's a sign of a hex. Most of the time, I'm sorry, Don. I'm sorry. Um, not being able to make decisions. Okay. Not being able to make decisions. Your emotions may be blocked because, and you may be numb. You may be numb. You may just be in a place where you can't really, like, one minute if it's something that makes you happy, but then you just go back to this apparent sadness, like, oh, that's wonderful, but then it's just like, oh, it's hard to explain it. It's where things are around you to make you happy, but generally, for the most part, you're just unhappy. The reason why depression is a big one is because a lot of times when it comes to a curse, your individual essence is being blocked, which is, of course, going to lead to unhappiness. It's going to lead to unhappiness. And you're going to feel like there's no way out. You're going to, like some people, when they get really depressed, or when curses get really, really bad, they're at a place where they can't see the silver lining. They can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And you get to the point where you just go into this place where it feels like your spirit is lost. And yes, people do steal your essence. There are people out there that will steal your spirit. They will try to steal your soul. And there are some people that can do it, and they have done it. It's called spiritual transference that can happen during a curse. That's the whole point of a curse sometimes, is to steal your essence, to steal the light, to try to steal your what. And I have seen people do it. I have seen people do this before to other people. In fact, I see that all the time more than anything, especially on YouTube. Certain people that I will observe on YouTube definitely have hexes on them, because it's a miserable place to be in. Okay, it's very miserable because there's spirits that are around you, that are moving in and around you, and then especially if you've been targeted. Now, witches are not supposed to be going around targeting anybody. If you see a witch targeting people, run. And I'm talking about targeting long term. You're a target, I'm targeting you. That's something different. That's not a witch that's here to help you. That's a witch that's here to help him or herself. Okay, if long term, signs of mental illness, witches are supposed to be on some level, especially if they're working witches and they are providing service to others. So it really depends. If you're a person that might be in a very dark place and you just so happen to have money to spend on curses, then you'll go to these types of witches to get curses done on other people. But if you are somebody that has a family that you're concerned about, you have children, you have people in the world that you love, you have things that you love, you're on your path of your life path, of your life purpose, okay? And you're wondering, why am I blocked? Why am I blocked? Why is this happening? I'm a good person. If you find yourself saying, why is this happening to me? I'm a good person. Okay? If you find yourself saying that to yourself all the time. Now, I don't agree with witches that target people, but there are those out there that do. They have very big numbers. They are very different from if you see a couple of witches working together or if you see a solitary witch. They have more of a connection with the divine. Yes, they do, because they are not targeting people. People that are targeting somebody else, they don't have that connection with the divine. They're trying to get it. So let's be very careful about what we consider to be a witch on here. Hey, good morning, Shireen. Hello. Witches have assignments. I know that when I get a case, it's considered to be an assignment. Typically, witches are allotted a certain amount of time for their social life. But as far as, wasting a bunch of time, we typically don't have time to waste, especially if you're working with clients, you're not going to have a whole lot of time to waste on certain things. You know what I'm saying? So be careful with that, because I feel that some of the people that need the most help are claiming that they can help, but they can't. Also, another thing, I've noticed that there have been witches on YouTube that try to convince other people that they are more powerful because they are dark skinned. Y'all ever heard about that? That you're not powerful enough because you don't have melanin because of the color of your skin. The color of your skin does not determine how much melanin you have. It doesn't. So and I gotta speak on it. I gotta speak on it today, because there's a lot of people that have been falling for that crap and they have fallen short. Your spirit guides and God is not going to tell you that a person is going to look a certain way. Yeah, there are darker skinned people that can help you. Absolutely. But it's not the truth that dark skinned people are more powerful. That's called colorism. We don't get down with racism, colorism, sexism, or classism over here. Yeah, we don't do that. Yeah, knowledge has nothing to do with color of somebody's skin. Power has nothing to do with the color of somebody's skin. Somebody can't say that I can't assist you in a spiritual war just because I'm light skinned. That's a lie. You just have to know and have access to and be able to access it. A person that's all, messed up in the head, they can't sit back and meditate. Probably 80% of the work that I do for you is going to be done in meditation. The rest of it is a candle. The candle just helps us channel the energy. So this is one of the reasons why I don't be sending out pictures of candles and stuff, because the candle don't mean nothing. How are you feeling? How are things going? You know what I'm saying? Now, if a lot of people are measuring their strength based upon how well they can curse people, then that's another consciousness, that's another paradigm which is very old and played out. Right now, what Spirit wants to do is to free a lot of people from these either generational hexes or bondages. Okay. Anger and violence and violent thoughts, sign of a person being hexed. If you have someone using violence against you, that person is hexed, not you. But then if they were to put hands on you, then they could transfer some of that hex to you. So that's the whole point of people trying to pound their energy into you, because people in general don't know how to get rid of those energies and to free themselves of those energies. A lot of people don't know how. That's why you'll see people up in their 50s and 60s and they'll still be hexed, and because it's very difficult to break a hex. It's not just about breaking a hex. It's also about telling the body and the spirit that it is no longer hexed. The mind, the body, and spirit will still carry those energies with it. And that's why it's important to try to cleanse yourself and clear yourself. This is one of the reasons why authentic witches are going to charge you a certain amount of money to do those things. Okay. A banishing over here with me is probably going to cost you up to $1,000. Okay. It's going to cost you up to $1,000. It's not going to be cheap. If you get a hex remover, my hex removers are $600. This stuff is not meant to be cheap. Okay. If you've got some, I'm just telling you, most of the authentic spiritualists on here would not touch your case for less than $1,000 or more because it's so risky. Okay, so they have so practitioners have to have insurance. Now, I do group rituals every Sabbath. Okay, we have a Sabbath coming up called Mbok. This is going to be celebrated regardless. However, there's certain workings that need to be done during the Sabbath. And I've noticed that people are pretty triggered by the Sabbaths for some reason because those people are cursed. I've had people harassing me during my Sabbaths. That means that you have a curse on you if you're doing that. Okay, that means and stalking a witch. Hold on, let me tell you guys something else. It is never a good idea to curse a witch that is helping you or doing work on you. If you are working with a witch and you start throwing negative stuff at a witch, you're going to have some problems. There's certain things that people shouldn't do. I've actually caught people that were supposed to be clients lighting candles on me. Why? I don't know. You would do that, but there's no need for that. Okay. Being very fidgety, impatient, can't relax. You know, those are signs of being cursed. Okay. When you just, when you're and so I deal with problematic clients time and time, from time to time. And these are typically the ones with the worst case curses on them. They may be going through something or they may be paranoid about something. Okay, paranoia is a big sign of being cursed. As if you're paranoid. Good morning, Robin. Paranoia is a big sign of being cursed. Okay. Sometimes you may hear things when you're cursed, but I think that's when a person has really been cursed really, really bad because there's different levels. There's different levels. The stuff that I really could talk about, I can't really talk about here. This is secret knowledge. These are just general things that you can go and Google what I'm talking about. But when it comes to certain things, that has to do with self, we tend to talk about those things in private because people can be very triggered. And it's not even worth it. It's not even worth discussing it publicly. But there's certain things that are over certain people's families because that family is cursed. And those demons and energies and entities, they will not allow you to do certain things. They will not allow you to have certain things. Even things that are necessary for your survival. If you don't have the basic things that you need to survive, like right now, like I don't care if it's eggs, milk in the refrigerator, cereal, noodles, okay, some packages of meat. If you don't have those things, that can mean that there's a generational curse on you because see, you don't even have the things that you need or require to even survive. Okay? You don't even have the things that you need to survive and you can't obtain them. It's a sign of a generational hex, which it's you know, I that when it gets that bad, then I always suggest people to get into my Sabbats and try to work with my energy and try to commune. Don't just join my Sabbats and then go off somewhere. Robin Henry, if you need to talk to me, just you can either text me. All of my contact information is below. But the Sabbats are not meant to replace the work that you may actually need. And a lot of times it'll get to the point where it'll be a downright emergency for some people because you know things will just seem to get worse and worse and they just don't seem to be getting any better, or either your condition within yourself will just get worse and worse and you're just not getting better. Good morning, Teron Herring. Good morning. Oh, you glad to see you smiling this morning. You're welcome. And so the reason why most people can't break hexes and why they don't even advertise doing that is because they don't know how. There's certain things that need to be done in the spirit realm. It's not just about burning a candle. That's one of the reasons why I charge more. Some people just do the physical work, but not the etheric or the actual spiritual work because they're afraid of it. So that's why a lot of people don't get the proper help that they actually need. You know, getting into relationship curses. A lot of you guys will say my relationship is cursed, which is true. Most of the time, when you have relationship problems, it's as a result of a generational hex. These things take time. It does not necessarily happen overnight sometimes, especially when you are removing a deep hex where there's a lot of emotional pain and suffering and spirits that are coming to the surface. That because I always say that when you're removing a hex, it's happening in stages. You're aware of the hex, which has to do with the crown chakra, because you've contacted the spirit guides that have shown you the way out of that. Then you are definitely aware because you're seeing things more. You're starting to notice people's the way that they're looking at you, the way that strangers look at you. You know, sometimes a person that's under a really bad hex, they'll walk into a place and people just kind of look at them and kind of back away from them. You know, you don't have to go in the grocery store and start eating raw meat at the meat counter for people to know that you're cursed. It's almost like that's what you're doing and they're backing away from you. Then you've got the throat chakra. So you may go through um, trust issues, then you may have heart issues, then you may have stomach issues, and you may have intimacy problems or infertility. And so it goes through the chakras, including the legs and the feet. And as these curses are being unearthed from you, gotta be you have to have faith while you're being delivered from that curse. It's like you're being delivered from it. Almost like you're in the belly of the beast, but then you're reborn, so to speak. This is one of the reasons why my clients are urged to take spiritual baths while they're getting hexes removed from them, because it's important to work with that water and those herbs so that you can start healing. Because if you've been cursed for a very, very long time, imagine how much of a mess your chakras will be. They'll be a mess. And I know what you're going through, because I had somebody throw a curse at me a few weeks ago. And I noticed that when things that needed to be done, I felt scattered. So feeling scattered, okay, to the point where you can't find something. Oh, losing things all the time, losing things. We just losing stuff all the time. Like, I can't find this, I can't find that. I lose my glasses all the time, which but I'm talking about losing important things like your car keys, like your house keys. Okay, stuff like that. Homelessness, financial troubles. Okay. Those things can be signs of a hex. And it typically is a very dark spirit, or it could be someone else's intent. Okay. It could be someone else's intent towards you. There's a difference between having a curse on you and being psychically attacked. Okay. There's a difference. A psychic attack, you're going to feel pure raw energy, which can be transmuted, but a curse is a binding, it's a stronghold. Very, very, very different. Curses will eventually take your life, eventually, depending on which kind you have on you. Hold on, guys. Oh, shit. Hold on, guys. I'll be right back. I've got an urgent message. 1 second. Sorry about that, guys. So the person that just texted me, you're gonna have to text me back. Like I am not. I know that you're watching right now. Text me again because that's strange for your text message to disappear out of my inbox. Okay, there you go. All right, hold on. Okay, y'all, I'm back. That was so strange. Can you guys hear me? Okay, I'm back, you guys. That was really strange. I have never had that happen before. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up. But see, here's the thing about certain things is that people will spend money on shoes. People will buy things. People will buy objects that'll end up eventually being cursed. But they don't want to invest in themselves. They'll say, "Oh, well, I've got money, but I don't have money to spend on that stuff." But they'll go through life in pain and suffering, and they don't want to invest in themselves. And see, that's a problem because spirit will give you what you need. The reason why spiritualists charge money is because it takes energy. And if a spiritualist didn't charge money to do that work for you, then it would be a violation, and that spiritualist would have a lot of issues. As far unless they're just rich and they just have money just to go around and deal with things, or if they're paid maybe by some other corporation. But I know that for me, I own my business, and so all of the work that gets done, it gets done by me. And so, you know, um, you'll notice that when you get a hex removal, life will start to get better. Typically, with hex removals and cleanses, you're going to see and feel the difference immediately. If you don't see or feel the difference immediately, then there's probably more work that needs to be done. And a lot of people, what I always suggest to them, especially if you're in your 30s or your 40s, to try to get to think about the generational hex remover, because a lot of people will even notice the generational curses that are on them by the way that their family members, or the way that their mother or their father, their behavior, because typically it will get passed down. And so that's how people are able to curse objects. If you are a cursed person, when you touch something, it will become cursed sometimes. So everything that you have will end up having that, because that spirit wants everything. Anything that you have, it wants to touch it. Typically, curses are going to lead you to ultimately being either very, very codependent to the point where everybody around you is trapped, or it will lead you to a place where you are isolated and alone. You can't be around people. People feel like like if somebody touches you, it just, ew, don't touch me. People that are cursed have a specific type of behavior, and when they are in the eye of the storm of the curse, they tend to be very, very touchy, strange, put off. They can't enjoy life. They can't enjoy food, really. They can't enjoy sex. They can't enjoy those things. Those are signs of curses, that you've got blockages. And see, that's what curses do. It doesn't just mess with the circumstances, but it also causes health problems in your physical body. Will cause health problems. Health problems is a main sign of being cursed, is when your health has been compromised. Typically, those things are coming from the brain, the head, the third eye, but it's still something that you just notice that now when you have a bad day, everybody's going to have a bad day sometimes, but you shouldn't have a bad day. You shouldn't spend like if you're spending half of your time in a negative mindset with negative things happening to you, that's a sign that you're cursed. It shouldn't be one day you're okay and the next day you're not, and then the next day you're okay and then the next day that you're not. And see, a lot of people say, oh, well, this is bipolarism. I'm bipolar. Mental illness is a sign of a curse. Anxiety is one big one, would be anxiety. You can tell that the curse is removed because the anxiety will start to lift off of you. What I do at my business is I don't just do the work. I actually pray over you and I banish a lot of those entities off of you. Okay. That's good. Congratulations. I'm glad that you made that. Hello, Dr. Brunson Honeydew. Hello. So, life will eventually get better, but you just have to get with a spiritualist that cares, because spiritualists that don't care, they will just take advantage of you. They will. They'll see that you're cursed and they'll want to curse you even more. Okay, things should be getting better for you. If you're dealing with somebody, it should be getting better. If it's not, you have to communicate that with your spiritualist and say, hey, I don't feel that things have gotten better, and maybe there's more work that the spiritualist needs to do for that specific case. It just depends. Spiritualist has to go in through spirit, ask spirit what is going on, and then do the appropriate work for you. Okay. And the one thing that I can tell you is that most authentic witches or spiritualists do not fear the stuff that is wrong with y'all. They don't fear that, and yeah, we're all vulnerable. Nobody, I don't want to sit up here and act like I'm the type of person that is just, I'm just bulletproof, even though my protection, the way that it is specified is that it is to be that. But again, everybody has to live that human experience. We're all human. Okay. And so somebody that's genuinely helping you, things are going to start getting better for you. Things are not going to get worse. Okay. Now, sometimes things can get worse before they get better, but it's certain, like I would say, because a hex, here's how I describe a hex. A hex is like a tight, it's, you know what? It's like walking a tightrope and you feel like you're going to fall at any moment. You know what I'm saying? And the way that it binds you and it squeezes you to where it's like this binding cord and it just wraps around you, almost like a long snake, and you have to break the or chains. You can describe it as chains. You have to break those chains. That's how you can describe it. And until you do something about it, it doesn't matter how much money you got, even if your bills is paid, you just kind of you're like, oh well, I'm functioning, I'm surviving, but I don't have any happiness or pleasure in life. I just, every single day is just hell. That would be living in a hex. Okay. That would be living in a hex. So I actually help people with that. In fact, this year, it's the cleanses and the hex removers are going to be one of the biggest things that you guys are going to hear me talk about, along with the Sabbats. A lot of the other stuff like love and like money, we do money work over here too as well. But as far as like love and money, well, love, those things are going to fall into place once you remove a lot of those hexes. So that's why love work is sometimes necessary when a person has been hexed for so long and they may need to raise up their kundalini or either open up the heart chakra. That's the only really kind of love work that I provide at this point, would be opening and clearing out of the heart chakra so that you guys can start to connect with those energies and frequencies of love. And then love is going to automatically happen. And I'm talking about genuine love. Fake love kills the heart. Real love heals the heart. Okay, so a lot of people that are cursed, they'll have these people around them that don't give a damn about them. No, you're just cursed even more. You are surrounded by people that don't care about you. This can even be people in your family sometimes. And, you'll be feeling that unhappiness while they try to convince you that everything is okay when you know that it's not, because you just don't feel it. And you may have to, do certain things. Your heart may be, what do you call that? Either pounding, or either it just feels like the heart is hurting because the heart is needing something that it's not getting necessarily. So, sometimes people, for example, I could really go deep into things. Like, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to kind of touch the surface. But as far as what the heart is searching for, and if you are being forced to be in a situation that you don't want to be in, then this is a sign of being cursed too. Some of your relationships within themselves can be curses if they're not making things better in your life. And then especially if you can't live within your truth or your personal happiness, if a person does not support you, if you are surrounded by people that are not supportive of your ideas, and and everything that you say, they disagree with it, then you're probably your surrounding environment. See, this is called being cursed by outside influences. Okay, if it's family and everybody in the family is sick with some kind of health problem that has been tearing down the body for years, then that's a sign of a generational curse. And you can even tell when you're generationally cursed, or there's a generational curse over the family, when the people in the family that are they're bypassing those curses, and the people in the family want to stop you. They want to judge you. That's a sign that your family is under a generational curse. Doesn't mean that you're cursed, especially if you removed it. Especially if you removed it from yourself, and you can't necessarily remove it from family members that don't want to receive the help. So that's why I always tell people that, you can try to talk to those people, but mainly save yourself. There's a lot of people, you'll take them to go and see a spiritualist, and they just won't receive it. And I have seen people do it. They just don't want to receive that information because it's scary to them. But then eventually they end up, somewhere seeing a spiritualist. Seeing somebody that can see beyond the veil, and they may not be afraid to access the etheric realm to free your soul, because that's what happens. The soul gets snatched. It does. It does. I see that a lot. I see that a lot, to where a person's energy has been replaced with a demon or either a bad spirit. Happens all the time. That's why sometimes you'll see people, they'll look a certain way and they'll act a certain way, and they'll just be happy and they'll be radiating the sunshine from them. And then all of a sudden, that person may become very dark and sinister, and they may become very evil. Okay. They may become very evil and start doing evil things. That's a sign that that person is cursed. Okay. If you see a spiritualist going through spiritual war, that doesn't mean curse. That means spiritual war. But if you are somebody that is going through any of these things, chances are you have been either hexed or cursed. Typically, the reason why it gets worse is because of the outside influences will sometimes make it worse. If you are surrounded by somebody that knows about these things, that can recognize these things, then you'll be able to get the appropriate help. If you're surrounded by a bunch of blind people, then it's just like the blind leading the blind. Okay. And you got to get with somebody that can see. And then also, it is a contract. So a hex is a contract on a person's soul or their spirit. It's where their energy is being, it's that specific entity, wherever it's at. Different entities have different underworlds. And all they're there to do is collect. When they are told by your ancestors to let you go, they're going to release you. It's that simple. Going about it for years and years and years and years, it should not take years and years and years for you to, like, it shouldn't take you 10, 20 years. No, I would say to get if you're generationally hexed, it should take you 5 years at least, sometimes less time than that, to fully recover from that generational hex. Okay, that's why 5 years, that's why people always either they'll make a 3-year plan or they'll make a 5-year plan. If you have not reached your goal at the end of that 5 years in some kind of way, then something needs to be done. If you are setting goals and it's been about 10, 20 years since you've set those goals and you've been in limbo and going through it, and you've got these periods of time where you're in a dark place and you can't manifest, then more than likely you're generationally hexed. Especially if you go back home or you call back home and you say, "Oh, I've had this amazing epiphany and I feel this and that," and they say to you, you're crazy." And then you get nothing but negativity and bullying. Okay, then you have to look and see whose sacrifice am I in the family. 9 times out of 10 is going to be your parents. Sometimes it'll be your grandparents. They want to convince us that they have the right to completely sacrifice our energy and our life completely, but they don't, is what I'm telling you. So if you have a situation like that, it could be an uncle, it could be a grandfather, it could be a family member that you've never even met, could be a parent. Okay. Yeah, people's faces will shift like that. Yep, you're right. So, if you have those kind of family problems, and you have a family member that has it out for you, it can't be explained. It's inexplicable, to be honest with you. It's inexplicable. It- there's help for you because they'll try to make you feel like there's nowhere to hide or run from it, but it is. It's you don't run from it. You don't run from it. You face it. That's what we do over here. We don't run from demons. We not scared of demons. We not scared of scary stuff. Okay. And I think that's why when they raised me, when my mother was raising me, I was wondering why you got me watching the movie The Exorcist and I'm 2 and 3 years old. But when I got older, it made sense. It made perfect sense. Okay. And if somebody is attacking you, you have to have your defenses up. You can't be like, have y'all ever saw that movie Pet Cemetery? And remember when he brought that little boy back to life and the mother she was thinking too much with her heart and she saw her son that she knew was dead, but she still, of course, that's your son, but she walks up to him to hug him and he kills her. So, I bring that up to say is that, and please don't think that I'm saying that because I believe that children are innocent, but it's flipped around. It's when the elders are trying to sacrifice the young folk. This happens a lot. Why would a younger person need to sacrifice an older person? Why would they need to do that? That would make no sense. It would make no sense unless it's for life insurance, which that's a hex within itself. Family members killing each other for life insurance instead of tapping into their creativity to make money and not seeing the potential that, and if you have a dangerous family like that, it's time to get away from them. Okay. And I don't mind helping you folks. I've been through the worst of the worst. I have went through some hard knocks in life. I will tell you that and survived it all. Okay. So a lot of times if your situation is particularly bad and a lot of you will contact me and you'll have these really bad spirits on you. And I've got to read what's going on. So I can't just immediately banish the spirit unless it's messing with my throat or my body in some. Okay. Okay. So the main thing about it is also communication. So I gotta go because I got a couple of people that are communicating with me. But if you guys need me, you don't have to be embarrassed coming here. See, that's the thing is that a lot of times people will get embarrassed or they will feel strange talking about the things that they have experienced and seen. There's no embarrassment over here. There's no judgment over here at all. Okay, because I believe in the paranormal and the crazy stuff, the stuff that other people are gonna go and they're gonna call you crazy. Okay, well, you're not crazy. You just need some help. Now, if you are getting the appropriate help, and your mind and your body is not taking to it immediately, it's because you've been going through this your whole life. You've been dealing with this same energy your whole life, so you really don't know any other way to be or to exist. And creating your sacred places, which is where you can meditate, is one of the first things that I suggest to people. It's kind of difficult getting some people to do those, learn how to meditate and to learn how to accept. Now I've got to accept navigating my own way because that demon or that entity has been navigating you for your whole life. Okay. So all of my links are below in the video description box. You guys want to get a consultation. Don't just go and purchase a hex remover. Go ahead and get a consultation so that we can talk, so that I can let you know what's going on. I am available a little bit, like within a little bit, because I usually don't do readings this early, but I can be available this early. It just depends. Okay. And then also make sure that you guys are being 100% truthful and honest. If there's something that you need to talk about when you talk to me, go ahead and let it out. I'm not going to always see those things. I'm not, it's all about being honest and communication. Okay. So if you guys need to reach me, everything is below. I will see you guys later. I hope that you guys get the help that you need to remove those things from you. And I know that I've done it. A lot of people wouldn't believe it, but I did it. I was able to get that stuff off of me, especially the generational stuff, to where you was supposed to be a sacrifice for somebody else. And guys, I'm gonna give y'all a little secret. Nobody has to sacrifice anybody. Nobody has to sacrifice anybody. Nobody has the right to sacrifice anybody. Okay. Just to let y'all know. And I will see y'all later. Peace and love. Have a good week. And I'll talk to y'all later. Okay. I gotta go.